suggests that people blink less when they're actively engaged. 지금 나와 대화를 하고 있는 상대가 내 말을 제대로 듣고 있는 걸까? 하고 궁금할 때가 있죠. 최근 연구에 따르면 그 답이 우리 눈에 있다고 하는데요. 사람은 청각 신호에 집중할 때 눈을 덜 깜빡인다고 합니다. Now, according to this study, reduced blinking while listening becomes even more pronounced in noisy environments where the brain must work harder to process speech. As background noise increases, blink rates drop further, indicating greater cognitive effort is required to understand spoken information. 이 연구에서 뭔가 들을 때 눈 깜빡임이 감소하는 현상은 특히 소음이 많은 환경에서 더 두드러졌다고 합니다. 이런 환경에서는 우리 뇌가 음성 정보를 처리하기 위해 더 많이 노력해야 하기 때문인데요. 배경 소음이 커질수록 눈을 깜빡이는 빈도가 줄어든다는 건데, 이럴 때는 지금 들어야 하는 청각 신호를 이해하기 위해서 인지적 노력이 더 들어가고 있음을 가리킨다고 하네요. Well, joining us in the studio this Thursday morning is Jason Lee. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, Sujin.
I do apologize. We seem to have had some technical glitches there. I think I have the proper mic in front of me. But yes, but you are tuning into us live, and this is what happens on a live show sometimes.
Live broadcasting, you
네.
never know what you're gonna get.
자, 1월 22일 목요일 생방송을 함께하고 계십니다. 선생님은 이제 누군가랑 대화할 때 눈 깜빡임 이거 집중해서 보신 적 있어요? Have you ever noticed that people blink more when they're not paying attention and they blink less when they are?
I've never actually noticed that.
Nor have I.
Yeah.
But they say there's some science behind it, so gotta believe it. And the next time, I guess, you want to know if the person you're talking to is actually paying attention, have a look at how many times they blink.
It
Really
does make
interesting.
sense, I think. And at the same time, if you're ever going to have a staring contest against somebody, then just don't blink.
Yeah, exactly. 그래요. 이렇게 눈 깜빡임이 집중을 하고 있는지 안 하고 있는지를 보여줄 수 있는 지표가 될 줄이야. 생각지도 못한 연구 결과인데요. It is kind of tricky though because in Korea, people aren't used to looking people in the eyes. It's more common for people to sort of look away every
Look
now
away,
and then.
yeah.
And that doesn't mean they're not paying attention. It's just awkward.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And because there is something. I honestly, I think I do that as well. Like I don't like to stare at someone's eyes for too long. Like I feel like okay, that's been like my 5 or 10 seconds. Look away for a moment and then refocus to show that you're engaged.
Exactly.
So I definitely get that. And at the same time, I do also know that when I'm talking to somebody else, that seems like overly focused on my eyes when I'm talking to them. Like I feel a little bit uncomfortable as well. So there might be a little bit of a cultural difference in that regards as well.
Oh, definitely. 우리는 눈을 너무 빤히 쳐다보면 오히려 불편해서 그래서 딴 데도 좀 보다가 또 다시 이제 얼굴 보고 이렇게 하는 게 더 자연스러운데 아무래도 서양에서는 훨씬 더 오랫동안 계속 눈을 쳐다보고 그래야지 polite한 거죠. You have to make eye contact. Otherwise people think, you're not listening.
Yeah.
In the West, anyway.
I know also like when you're playing poker, like especially on like a competitive level, like a lot of the top poker players will wear sunglasses because they don't want you to see their eyes.
They're excellent mind readers, aren't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do they call it? The windows to your soul.
Exactly.
So, they do. A lot of poker players will wear sunglasses because they don't want you to see your reaction when you're looking at your cards.
Right, exactly.
Stuff like that. So.
Because professional poker players can tell whether you're bluffing or whether you're actually really happy with your cards.
Exactly.
Just from tiny little things. You don't even have to smile.
Yeah.
They can just tell. So I guess to hide that, I didn't know they wore sunglasses, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
Every little advantage that you can get.
Makes total sense. All right. Well, today's 무모한 문장 mission is 순간 너무 당황해서 동공 지진이 왔어요. And when I hear this kind of expression, I think of an animated, cartoon series maybe where the eyes suddenly go boing. It's like, oh, shock. 이런 느낌인 것 같아요. So, how would you say this in English? 순간 너무 당황해서 동공지진이 왔어요. Now, because we do live radio and we've been doing this for decades, there have been times when, you might be a little thrown off or surprised. But our job, of course, is not to do this. Not to go boing. Not to go, oh no. But just to stay as calm as possible, as we did today.
Cool as a cucumber.
Cool as a cucumber. Love that. It's also freezing outside.
Oh yeah, I guess it's easy to be cool as a cucumber today.
I was listening to Kristen and Cameron's show because, of course, their show goes out before ours, and they were just actually saying that, some days you feel like it's quite cold outside, and other days you go, oh my goodness, it's so cold. And today is one of those days. And it's surprising because, they pre-recorded that, and I don't know how they knew it was going to be freezing cold today.
Bitterly cold, as I like to say.
Perfect. 너무나 오늘 춥습니다. 여러분이 계신 곳의 날씨도 알려주세요. 자, 순간 너무 당황해서 동공지진이 왔다. 이 무모한 문장과 더불어서 여러분이 계신 곳의 날씨, 지금 얼마나 추운지 모두 다 이쪽으로 보내주시면 됩니다. 일단 샵 1045 문자는요. 짧은 거 50원, 긴 거 100원이고요. EBS 반디 앱과 유튜브 EBS 라디오 공식 채널 이용해 주시면 되겠습니다. 여러분이 보내주신 문장들은 1부 마지막에 발표하고 선물도 드리겠습니다. 그럼 오늘의 모닝 헤드라인스 시작합니다.
Korea's exports expanded 15% from a year earlier in the first 20 days of this month, driven by strong demand for semiconductors, according to the Korea Customs Service, with outbound shipments to China soaring past 30% year on year.
관세청에 따르면 이달 1일부터 20일까지 수출액이 강력한 반도체 수요에 힘입어 작년보다 15% 증가했으며 대중국 수출은 전년 대비 30% 넘게 늘어난 것으로 집계됐습니다.
The UN has warned that the world has entered an era of global water bankruptcy, urging immediate action to curb the overuse and pollution of this essential resource.
유엔은 세계가 글로벌 물 파산 상태에 진입했다고 경고하면서 물 남용과 오염을 억제할 즉각적인 조치를 취할 것을 촉구했습니다.
China's electricity consumption last year surpassed 10 trillion kilowatt hours for the first time, more than twice that of the U.S. and exceeding the combined usage of the European Union, Russia, India, and Japan.
중국의 지난해 전력 사용량이 처음으로 10조 킬로와트시를 넘겼습니다. 이는 미국의 2배 이상이며 유럽연합, 러시아, 인도, 일본 등 4곳의 전력 사용량을 합한 것보다도 많은 수치입니다.
Russia's far eastern Kamchatka Peninsula has been buried under several meters of snow in what's deemed as the heaviest snowfall in 6 decades, causing multiple casualties, disrupting transportation, closing roads, and burying buildings and cars.
60년 만에 최악의 폭설이 내린 러시아 극동 캄차카 반도 지역이 몇 미터 높이의 눈에 파묻히면서 사상자 여러 명이 나오고 교통마비 및 도로 폐쇄가 야기됐으며 건물과 자동차가 눈더미에 매몰됐습니다.
One of the largest solar storms in 2 decades has struck Earth, producing auroras visible across parts of the UK, Canada, Germany, and as far south as northern Italy.
20년 만에 발생한 초강력 태양 폭풍의 영향으로 영국, 캐나다, 독일 일부 지역 및 이탈리아 북부에서까지 오로라가 관측됐습니다. Alright, well those are our 5 headlines this morning. Let's take a closer look at those one by one.
Korea's exports expanded 15% from a year earlier in the first 20 days of this month, driven by strong demand for semiconductors, according to the Korea Customs Service, with outbound shipments to China soaring past 30% year on year.
관세청에 따르면 이달 1일부터 20일까지 수출액이 강력한 반도체 수요에 힘입어 작년보다 15% 증가했으며 대중국 수출은 전년 대비 30% 넘게 늘어난 것으로 집계됐습니다. Alright, let's talk about exports then.
Exports that have been doing very well so far this year. Outbound shipments reached 36.36 billion US dollars for the first 20 days of this year. That's compared with 31.63 billion over the same period last year, according to Korea Customs Service. So, Korea's economy is very much driven on exports, and we're off to a great start in the first 3 weeks of the year.
Yep, and of course semiconductors
Yes.
leading the way.
Absolutely. And also, a lot of the exports to China right now are 30% higher than last year. So showing that, China's always been our top trade partner, and they've been, once again, driven very strong.
Yeah, absolutely. 그래요. 이번 달 1월 1일부터 20일 사이에 우리나라의 수출액이요. 364억 달러를 기록했는데 이게 역대 최대 기록이라고 합니다. 특히 이제 반도체 수출이 아무래도 이 모든 그 수출을 좀 이끌었다라고 볼 수 있겠죠. 비중으로 봤을 때는 한 30% 정도를 차지하는데요. 급증한 이 반도체 수출이기 때문에 이 364억 달러 중에서 상당히 큰 부분을 차지했다고 볼 수도 있을 것 같고, 그 다음에는 이제 주요 수출 대상국은 말씀해 주신 것처럼 중국이 거의 포함되어 있는데 중국 말고도 미국, 중국, 베트남 요로의 수출이 다 증가했습니다.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a surprise is that exports to the U.S. have actually jumped 20%, well, 19.3% compared to last year, because a lot of people were concerned with the tariffs that the U.S. has imposed, that might actually bring exports down. But I mean, we've actually seen almost a 20% rise compared to the year before. So great to see that we're still heading in the right direction.
All right, let's have a look at. There's a strong demand for semiconductors.
When you demand something, you want something done in an aggressive way. Like you really, really want this to be done. So now when you say a strong demand, then it's even pushing that to a stronger level.
Right.
We talk also about supply and demand. So supply meaning how much of something you have, demand being how much somebody wants something, and the balance of that. So if you have strong demand, then prices might go up on something. If you have a strong supply with less demand, then prices might go down.
Exactly.
So we talk a lot about supply and demand when it comes to economy and things like that.
Exactly. 우리는 이제 수요와 공급이라고 하는데요. 수요가 demand고 공급이 supply잖아요. So in Korean we say it the other way around.
Oh, that's interesting.
수요와 공급. We always say it like that. Never 공급. Well, you could say 공급과 수요, but normally we say 수요와 공급. And in English, you could say demand and supply, but normally you would say supply and demand.
It would sound awkward.
So yeah, it's just interesting how the order is different, but we know the meaning. 수요는 demand, 공급은 supply가 되겠죠. Strong demand for something 그러면은 무엇에 대한 강한 수요, 많은 수요. And if you soar past something,
when I think of the word soar, I think of something going higher or faster beyond something. So, the thing that I hear most often with soar is like an eagle soars. So because it flies a lot higher than the other birds. But you're also thinking of like speed or going beyond something as well. So it says China soaring past 30% in terms of shipments to China. So it's going beyond this, and it's kind of like going zoom, see you later, like I'm past you, sort of thing. So you're kind of passing something really quickly.
How do you spell soar?
Soar is S-O-A-R and then I-N-G in this case, which is different from S-O-R-E, like a sore on your arm, or like my body is sore today because I worked out yesterday. Different spelling, different meaning.
그러네요. S-O-R-E는 어디가 살짝 아플 때, 뻐근할 때 많이 씁니다. 그래가지고 지금 몸이 어제 운동을 많이 해가지고 좀 뻐근해요라고 한다면 my body's sore from exercising yesterday. 그 외에도 sore가 또
Sometimes,
어때?
if you're tired, people
네.
have a cold sore, like the
맞아요,
I don't know what
맞아요.
you call that in Korean.
그 cold sore가 밖에 있는 입술 밖에 있는
Yeah, it's
거죠?
usually just on the side of your mouth. You
뭐라고
get something
부르지?
when you're really
네.
tired.
네, 입술에 뭐 이런 게 뭐 낫기도 하잖아요. 우리 굉장히 피곤하면은 그거를 cold sore라고 합니다.
It's like a bump and it'll kind of crack.
Yeah, I forget the name in Korean. Help me out.
Somebody
please.
will get it.
Yes. I get this sometimes. I have cold sores every now and then, and yet for some reason, can't remember the word right now. All right, but nonetheless, 이제 훌쩍 뛰어넘다라고 할 때는 SOAR, to soar past something. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Korea's exports expanded 15% from a year earlier in the first 20 days of this month, driven by strong demand for semiconductors, according to the Korea Customs Service, with outbound shipments to China soaring past 30% year on year. Let's move on to the second headline.
The UN has warned that the world has entered an era of global water bankruptcy, urging immediate action to curb the overuse and pollution of this essential resource.
유엔은 세계가 글로벌 물 파산 상태에 진입했다고 경고하면서 물 남용과 오염을 억제할 즉각적인 조치를 취할 것을 촉구했습니다. Water bankruptcy?
Yeah, it sounds a pretty extreme way
Yeah.
of putting it, but obviously the UN is very concerned of this. The report showed that 75% of people lived in countries classified as water insecure or critically water insecure. 2 billion people lived on ground that is sinking as groundwater aquifers collapse. So water is going down in a lot of these populated nations. I think what you can see that is probably talking about countries like China, India, Pakistan, those sort of areas when you're talking about populations this large.
자, 우리가 이제 파산하면은 보통 돈 생각을 많이 하지만 bankruptcy라는 단어 앞에 water가 붙어서 물 부족을 넘어서서 이제 하나도 없게 되는 이런 상황. water bankruptcy라는 표현이 유엔 대학교 물환경보건연구소에서 사용이 됐습니다. 그래서 전 세계 수십억 명이 이런 water bankruptcy 상황에 직면했다. And the reasons would be water pollution, too much usage of underwater, I guess, pumping water from the ground, I should say. 뭐 지하수를 너무 많이 사용한다든지 수질 오염 이런 것들로 인해서 물 파산 상태에 직면했다고 합니다. 그래서 전 세계 인구의 4분의 3이나 물 불안정, 아까 그게 water insufficiency라는 그다음에 심각한 물 불안정, critically
insecure, water insecure.
insecurity였군요. critically water insecure인가요? 네, 이렇게 또 분류가 됐다고 합니다. 그래서 지금 제일 필요한 것은 현실을 우리가 인정하고 물 관리 방식을 바꿔야 한다라고 이 보고서가 지적하고 있네요. Let's have a look at urging immediate action.
When you're urging someone or something, then you're pleading with them. And you think of the word urgent.
Yeah.
This is really important, really right now, like immediately. Not we can't wait. Please, we need something here. And of course, immediate is like now, something we can't wait. And action is just something that you do. So we need to do something about this right now. We can't wait. This is very important in the immediate future.
I urge you to do something. 이렇게 할 것을 당부합니다. 촉구합니다. Immediate action. 즉각적인 조치를 취할 것을 촉구한다. And essential resource?
Essential is something that is needed or necessary, and resources are things that we use, like water or minerals or trees, and things that we use to either consume or to use for other purposes.
Right.
But there's stuff that we need in our way of life. So essential resources, something like water, we have to have water to live.
Sure.
So it's something that's obviously very important.
So the things you need every day, you actually call daily essentials.
Yes.
What's a daily essential?
certainly water, food.
Yes, yes, exactly.
A roof over your head, hopefully, or transportation.
그러네요. 이 필수품을 우리가 daily essentials라고 해서 essential을 명사로 쓰기도 하는데, 자, 여기서 essential resource의 essential은 형용사가 되겠죠. 아주 필수적인 resource, resource 발음 다 됩니다. 자원. 다시 읽어볼게요. The UN has warned that the world has entered an era of global water bankruptcy, urging immediate action to curb the overuse and pollution of this essential resource. Alright, well let's take a break. 김종모님이요. 날씨 너무 추워요. 따뜻한 해를 기다리게 되는 아침입니다. 수진쌤, 제이슨쌤, 감기 조심하세요 하셨습니다. Yeah, it's freezing outside, but luckily we don't have the cold, so knock on wood, we will continue to be healthy. Yeah, I hope everyone else out there is healthy too. 2475님은요, 청주는 출근길이 영하 12도입니다. 이런 겨울 날씨에도 우리 EBS 화이팅 하셨어요.
Ooh, -12.
Yeah, that was the temperature inside my car this morning because I parked my car outside.
Outside, oh no.
I couldn't find any spots in the basement, so I parked it outside. I knew it was going to be cold,
Oh,
and it
boy.
was. 8785님은요, 여기 대구입니다. 남쪽인데도 너무 추워서 출근 버스에 사람이 많이 없네요. 하셨습니다. Maybe they're taking some time to come out of the house because it's so cold.
Maybe
5 more minutes under the blanket.
or you're choosing to drive because you don't want to
Possibly.
be standing waiting for the bus.
Gone are the days when people used to say Daegu is warm all year round. No, not at all. Like almost every part of the country right now is freezing, literally. 자, 오늘의 무모한 문장 다시 알려드리겠습니다. 순간 너무 당황해서 동공 지진이 왔어요. 영어로 표현해 주시면 되겠습니다. 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원의 샵 1045, EBS 반디 앱 이용하실 수 있고요. 또 유튜브로는 EBS 라디오 공식 채널 들어오세요. Let's listen to Family of the Year with Hero. Let me go. I don't wanna be your hero. I don't wanna be a big man. I just wanna fight with everyone else. Your masquerade. I don't wanna be a part of Family of the Year Hero 들으셨습니다. You're listening to EBS FM Morning Special. Let's move on to the next headline.
China's electricity consumption last year surpassed 10 trillion kilowatt hours for the first time, more than twice that of the US, and exceeding the combined usage of the European Union, Russia, India, and Japan.
And of course we are live. 자, 중국의 지난해 전력 사용량이 처음으로 10조 킬로와트시를 넘겼습니다. 이는 미국의 2배 이상이며 유럽연합과 러시아, 인도, 일본 네 곳의 전력 사용량을 합한 것보다도 많은 수치입니다. Wow, China used a lot of electricity last year.
10 trillion kilowatt hours. That's up
Wow.
5% from the year before. And this is the first time that a single country has exceeded 10 trillion kilowatt hours.
But what's even more shocking is it says in the headline there, it's more than double the entire electricity usage of the US.
Yeah.
And it's even more than the electricity usage of the EU, Russia, India, and Japan combined.
Yeah, I mean, when you
Wow.
consider the population of China and the fact that their economy is growing so quickly, you think of how much electricity is being used by technology these days with more cars, more electric vehicles,
Yeah.
more computers, electronics, and things like that as the country modernizes. I guess we can expect that to a certain degree, but it's also a question of can they create enough electricity to keep up with their growing consumption?
네. 그래서 무엇 때문에 이렇게 전력 사용량이 많았느냐, 증가를 이끈 분야로 보게 되면은요, 배터리 충전 서비스업, 거기서 상당히 많은 전력을 썼다고 하고, 또 정보 전송, 소프트웨어, IT 서비스업, 이쪽에서도 전력을 상당히 많이 써서 중국의 작년 전력 사용량이 10조 킬로와트시가 넘었습니다.
You know, another thing that I know that China is famous for is things like Bitcoin mining. And one of the things about Bitcoin mining is it actually consumes a lot of electricity,
I'll
which
bet.
is the reason people don't do it is because you end up spending more money on electricity than the Bitcoin that you actually mine. So it's a very electricity intensive process, and I know there are a lot of Bitcoin mines in China where it's just large warehouses of computer hardware that's just doing this. So.
Exactly. Well, we're talking about electricity consumption. What is consumption?
Consumption is just when you use something, any sort of a resource. It could even be like food, right?
Yeah.
Like we consume food, we eat it, we use it to create energy for ourselves. So when you're using something, usually to create something else, then you're consuming something.
그렇죠. 음식 섭취라는 의미가 될 수도 있는데 일반적으로는 소비 그리고 사용량 이걸 consumption이라고 하죠. What about more than twice that of something?
When we use the word twice, then you're doubling something or timesing it by 2, multiplying it by 2. So if you have 10 of something, well, if you twice it or double it, then you have 20. So it's more than twice that of the US, so it's more than 2 times.
More than 2 times what the US used or what the US consumed. 이거랑 같은 뜻인데요. 문장 구조가 more than twice that of the US. 그래서 that of는 electricity consumption 얘기하고 있는 겁니다. 미국의 전력 사용량보다 2배가 넘었다. 2배 이상. Let's have a look at the headline again. I'm going to read it one more time. China's electricity consumption last year surpassed 10 trillion kilowatt hours for the first time, more than twice that of the US, and exceeding the combined usage of the European Union, Russia, India, and Japan. Let's move on to the next headline.
Russia's far eastern Kamchatka Peninsula has been buried under several meters of snow in what's deemed as the heaviest snowfall in 6 decades, causing multiple casualties, disrupting transportation, closing roads, and burying buildings and cars.
60년 만에 최악의 폭설이 내린 러시아 극동 캄차카 반도 지역이 몇 미터 높이의 눈에 파묻히면서 사상자 여러 명이 나오고 교통마비 및 도로 폐쇄가 야기됐으며 건물과 자동차가 눈더미에 매몰됐습니다. Yes, this isn't just like a winter wonderland here. We're talking about too much snow.
In one of the coldest places on Earth, in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah.
inhabited places on Earth as well. So they received more than 2 meters of snow in the first half of January, and in December they received 3.7 meters of snow. So over the last 2 months, they've received 5.7 meters of snow. So yeah, it's an awful lot. I mean, we're talking about cars and buildings that are completely submerged. Even like, I mean, four-wheel drive cars, they can't drive through the snow because it's like a wall
Yeah.
of snow unless it's been cleared or snow plowed to create the roads. So yeah, certainly some transportation issues among other things.
그래요. 자, 이 캄차카 반도는 러시아 극동 지역입니다. 거기에서 아주 기록적인 눈이 내려서 많은 피해가 지금 있어요. 도시 기능이 뭐 거의 마비됐다고 볼 수 있겠고, 지금 얘기하신 것처럼 일부 지역에서는 2m, 뭐 3m, 4m까지도 눈이 쌓였는데, 또 소셜미디어에서는 어떤 사람은 우리 집이 10층인데 우리 집까지도 눈이 쌓였다라고 해서 maybe, depending on where the building is and how the snow mounts, for some reason it was visible on the 10th floor, like it was pretty much outside the house. So, that's definitely way too much snow than we need. 자, 러시아에서 비상사태가 선포됐습니다. Okay, this is the expression to look at here. In what is deemed as.
If something is deemed as something, then people kind of agree or acknowledge that this is what we believe. So it says here, what's deemed as the heaviest snowfall in 6 decades. Well, everyone kind of agrees or understands this is how we see it, how we view it.
이렇게 여겨진다, 간주된다. It is deemed as something. D-E-E-M-E-D. Deemed as blah, blah, blah. So this is deemed as the worst snow in about 60 years. And there are multiple casualties.
Casualties are another way of talking about death. So I think when you hear the word death, it's got a really morbid, negative connotation.
Yeah.
The thing about casualty, we hear it more in the news and on TV. News anchors usually will say, the casualty, and it just sounds a little bit more pleasant to me personally.
But it's death and injuries
Yes.
combined.
Yeah. But it just sounds less morbid than death. Certainly.
Yeah,
I
I
guess you'll
guess
hear
so.
people say death count sometimes as well.
Death
But
toll, yeah.
yeah, it seems to be more of an official way of talking about it.
그렇죠. 사상자라는 뜻입니다. 사망자와 부상자 합쳐서 casualties, 사상자고요. 실제로 사망자도 나왔고 부상자도 나왔습니다. 항공 당연히 지금 중단된 상태고 대중교통도 마찬가지고요. 학교도 대부분 이 지역에서 지금 다닐 수가 없으니까 휴교 상태여서 마치 코로나 때처럼 원격 수업을 지금도 하고 있고요. 또 일부 사업장은 재택근무를 하고 있는 상황입니다.
Sometimes we will also talk about casualties as something lost in a process. So like it doesn't necessarily have to be people.
Okay.
You could say like this was a casualty of this situation. So like maybe a machine was destroyed or something else happened where we lost some sort of property or something. That was kind of like the what do we call that? When you lose something that wasn't meant to be, something lost in the crossfire, a casualty of that situation.
Okay, so in a more general sense, you can use it like that as well. All right, well, here's the headline one more time. Russia's far eastern Kamchatka Peninsula has been buried under several meters of snow in what's deemed as the heaviest snowfall in 6 decades, causing multiple casualties, disrupting transportation, closing roads, and burying buildings and cars. Let's move on to the final headline.
One of the largest solar storms in 2 decades has struck Earth, producing auroras visible across parts of the UK, Canada, Germany, and as far south as northern Italy.
20년 만에 발생한 초강력 태양 폭풍의 영향으로 영국, 캐나다, 독일 일부 지역 및 이탈리아 북부에서까지 오로라가 관측됐습니다. Alright, so tell us about this. This is unusual. It's not your average, northern lights.
Yeah, and usually the northern lights don't go down very far south. It's only visible in certain parts of the north, but
Which is why it's called the Northern Lights.
exactly, yeah. But in this particular case, they're getting these solar flares or solar storms that are much more intense. So they're saying that the strongest in 2 decades, and because of that, these are visible a lot further south on Earth.
자, 서유럽에서 이렇게 오로라가 관측이 많이 되고 있는데요. 통상적으로 우리가 오로라 하면은 그 북쪽 지방, 캐나다도 북쪽에서 볼 수 있죠.
Yeah, actually, I
네.
used to live in northern Canada
Oh,
in
you
a
did?
place called Dawson Creek, and we would see the auroras very regularly. Yeah, and the other thing to point out is that because it's winter right now
Yeah.
in the northern hemisphere, the sun goes down much earlier, so it's much more visible. Whereas if it were the summer and the sun's going down maybe like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. in the northern parts of the world, then it's not as readily visible because of that. But because it's winter, it's darker. That's another reason that it is going to be visible further
Yep.
south.
그래요. 근데 이번에 그 이례적인 이 오로라가 관측이 된 게 1월 19일 밤에서 20일 새벽 사이였는데요. 벨기에, 독일, 프랑스, 덴마크, 그다음에 핀란드에서도 관측이 됐다고 합니다. 보통의 오로라는 영어로 Northern Lights라고 부르는 이유가 북쪽 지방에서 보통 관측이 되기 때문인데 아까 저기 이탈리아에서도 관측이 됐다라는 건 상당히 아래쪽이거든요. 전체 유럽을 놓고 봤을 때는. 또 왜 그랬느냐? 태양 활동 급증으로 상당히 많은 전하 입자가 방출되면서 생긴 이례적인 오로라라고 합니다. 그게 왜 그런지는 지금 분석 중인데요. GPS나 위성 통신 항법 시스템이 일시적으로 장애를 일으켜서 이랬을 것이다. 이런 분석이 나오고 있더라고요. 앞으로도 또 나타날 수 있는데 this aurora is red. It's a bit different to the green aurora you used to seeing.
Yeah, I mean, it changes colors quite a bit. It can be red, orange. It can be kind of blue, green, purple as well, depending on, and sometimes it's just white, depending on if you see it from a distance. So, yeah, it looks different, but yeah, I guess they are saying that this one is more red than usual.
Exactly. And in the headline it says it's because of a solar storm. What's a solar anything?
Anything solar means that it has to do with the sun. So we talk about solar panels to collect sun energy, or we talk about solar energy, using the sun to create energy. So anything that's solar, we're talking about the sun.
태양과 관련된 거는 다 solar라고 하죠. 그래서 일반적으로 우리가 쓰는 달력이 Gregorian calendar라고도 하지만 you could maybe say it's the solar calendar.
Yep, absolutely.
반면에 우리가 이제 음력 요거는 lunar calendar라고 부르죠. 그래서 해와 달, solar, lunar. 여기서 얘기하는 solar storm이라는 거는요. 우리말로는 이제 강력한 지자기 폭풍 이렇게 표현을 하고 있는데 태양에 의해서 발생한 폭풍이라고 볼 수 있겠습니다. And what's visible?
Something that's visible is something that can be seen. I can see it, so it's visible. If it's invisible, then I can't see it. It's not visible. You can't see it. So visible, something that you can be seen. Something that you can't see is invisible.
Exactly. 보이는 거는 visible. 불투명하거나 안 보이면은 invisible.
And it's saying that the auroras are visible across, these areas.
Yeah.
Typically, it's invisible in a lot of areas, but now it's visible.
그렇죠. 자, 보통은 관측이 잘 안 되는 지역에서조차 이번에 관측이 됐습니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. One of the largest solar storms in 2 decades has struck Earth, producing auroras visible across parts of the UK, Canada, Germany, and as far south as northern Italy. Alright, well that's it for the headlines with Jason Lee. 오늘 무마 문장은 순간 너무 당황해서 동공 지진이 왔어요. 해봅니다. 샵 1045, 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원이고요. EBS 반디 앱 무료로 이용하실 수 있고 유튜브 라이브 스트리밍 중인데요. EBS 라디오 공식 채널 들어오세요. Alright, let's take a break. Here's Enya with Wild Child. And Your Wild Child 들으셨습니다. 이제 제이슨 선생님의 예문과 함께 오늘의 주요 표현 복습해 볼게요. To soar past.
To soar past meaning to go higher, faster, beyond.
훌쩍 넘어서다. 특히 이게 올라가는 느낌인 거죠? 네, 예문 보겠습니다.
His sales numbers went soaring past everyone in his department last month.
지난달 그의 영업 수익은 같은 부서의 다른 사람들보다 월등히 높았습니다. 자, 다음 표현은 to urge immediate action.
Yeah, you're pleading, saying we need to do something right now. It's not something that can wait immediately. Right now, we need to do something about this.
지금 당장 조치를 취할 것을 촉구하다. 예문 볼게요.
They were urging for immediate action to prevent the foreign company from entering the domestic market.
그 외국계 기업이 국내 시장에 진입하지 못하도록 즉각적인 조치를 취할 것을 촉구했습니다. Next one, consumption.
Consumption is something that you use or eat or drink or something that is usually used to produce other things.
오케이. 보통 이제 소비라는 의미로 많이 쓰는데요. 예문 볼게요.
Consumption of coffee went up by 20% during the winter months.
네, 겨울 동안에 커피 소비량, 커피 섭취량은 20%나 증가했습니다.
I don't know if that's true, by the way. I just made
Just
that
an
number up.
example. Okay. 자, 다음으로 in what's deemed as something.
Something that's deemed to be something is acknowledged or understood. People say, okay, yeah, we agree on this.
자, 이렇게 간주되는 what's your sentence?
They celebrated the completion of the new bridge in what's deemed as an engineering marvel.
네, 그 engineering 건설적인 측면에서 봤을 때 정말 대단한 업적으로 여겨지는 그 교량 다리의 건설이 마무리가 됐습니다. 그 완공이 된 것을 축하했습니다. 이렇게 선생님이 쓰셨군요. 자, 그리고 마지막 표현은 visible.
Something is visible, it means that you can see it. You can see it literally.
야, 눈에 띈다, 보인다. 자, 예문 볼게요.
On a clear day, Namsan Tower is visible from Gimpo.
하늘이 맑으면은 김포에서도 서울 N타워가 보입니다. 자, 이렇게 해서 주요 표현 다 복습해봤습니다. 모닝 헤드라인 익스프레션스는 오디오 어학당에서 다시 듣기 하실 수 있습니다. 여러분의 영어 루틴이 되는 시간 EBS FM 모닝 스페셜. 자, 오늘의 무모한 문장은 순간 너무 당황해서 동공 지진이 왔어요입니다. 자, 이거 쉽지 않았을 것 같은데.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't think of like a really good expression that we use in English that I think is exactly like this Korean saying, I guess. So I think,
똑같은 건 없는 것 같아요.
yeah, I think we're gonna have some interesting answers today.
그래요. 좀 의역을 하거나 그 상황을 떠올리면서 다르게 표현을 해야 될 것 같긴 한데, 자, 여러분의 문장 보겠습니다. 박혜숙님, I was so freaked out that my eyes froze like a cartoon.
Okay. I like the explanation. I think it seems to cover everything. Yeah.
The only thing is, in English, you don't say that your eyes froze or your eyes shook like an earthquake. You simply don't say that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only thing.
Exactly. And yeah, I guess, I mean, like a cartoon as well. I think, you were explaining to me earlier that, it's used in cartoons a lot, or that's the image that a lot of people get. But I don't think that we would say that in English, that it's like a cartoon.
그래요. 사실 오늘의 무모한 문장이 좀 조금 어려울 수 있는 이유는 바로 이 눈과 관련된 이 동공지진이라는 표현이 영어에 존재하지 않기 때문이에요.
Yeah.
그러나 당황하는 상황은 다 존재하죠. 어느 나라에나. 그러니까 그럴 때 어떻게 묘사를 하면 좋을지 좀 창의적으로 문장을 만드셔도 좋을 것 같은데, 자, 문형선님은요, I was so shocked that my eyes shook.
So again, from a translation standpoint, I think everything is fine. From a cultural standpoint, I don't think we would say that my eyes shook in English, just because it's not something that we talk about in that way. But in terms of, the essence of what you're trying to do in terms of taking it from Korean into English. Totally get it. I think from grammar standpoint, I think it's fine as well.
그렇죠. 문법적으로는 괜찮아요. 그러나 역시나 문화적으로 영어에서는 뭐 눈이 흔들렸다, 눈이 얼었다, 뭐 동공이 지진했다 이런 표현 자체가 존재하지 않다 보니 이렇게 말씀을 만약에 하시면 원어민은 What do you mean? 이렇게 물어볼 것 같아요. 자, 이은미님, I was so shocked. I was like a deer caught in the headlights.
Here we go.
Perfect.
Yes, I think this is the one.
This is good.
There we go. I see.
이거네요.
I couldn't think of that, but that's exactly what we say.
맞네요.
Yeah, like a deer caught in the headlights.
딱입니다, 이게. 그러니까 I라는 단어를 안 써도 돼요.
Yes.
그죠?
Yeah.
그냥 안 써도 되는 정도가 아니라 사실 안 쓰는 게 더 좋을 수 있어요. 영어에서는 그런 표현을 안 쓰니까. 그래서 I was like, 나는 이것과 같았다. A deer caught in the headlights. Tell us about that expression.
Yeah, so a deer caught in the headlights, your eyes go big because you see the light of the car coming in. So yeah, deer opens its eyes, and we use this expression a lot. Maybe like a new news anchor on TV for the first time that makes a mistake, we say that, oh yeah, it looked like a deer caught in the headlights.
맞아요. 그러니까 이거는 어떤 상황에서 나온 표현이냐면 캄캄한 밤에 가로등 하나 없는 산길을 이제 달리고 있는 거예요, 차가. 그런데 갑자기 사슴 노루 한 마리가 이렇게 지나가요. 그러면은 이 헤드라이트를 보고 노루가 깜짝 놀라가지고 눈이 이렇게 확 켜지는 요 모습을 영어로는 이렇게 표현을 해요. A deer in the headlights. 근데 그게 바로 동공지진에 제일 가깝네요.
Yeah,
생각해보니까.
yeah. No, this is literally
이거네요.
perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, this didn't come to my mind, but it's perfect. So good. 와, 이은미님 너무 잘하셨습니다. 자, 8312님, I was so panicked that my eyes were darting around.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad as well. Because yeah, we do say your eyes can dart, but
Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
moving, shaking a little bit, I guess.
그쵸.
But maybe slower than shaking. You're kind of like surveying the room. Like
Right.
you might say that your eyes are darting.
그렇죠. eyes darting around라는 표현 자체는 있어요. 아주 잘 활용해 주셨지만 보통은 이건 어떤 거냐면 그냥 오른쪽 왼쪽 여기저기 다 이렇게 살펴보는 거예요. 누가 왔지? 여기 지금 와 사람이 이렇게 굉장히 많네. 나 아는 사람 있나? 이런 느낌. 이라서 동공지진이랑은 살짝 다릅니다. 자, 그다음에 장진승님. I was so flustered. My eyes were all over the place.
Okay. Yeah, if you're all over the place, then you're kind of here, there, everywhere. You're moving around. So yeah, I can kind of see that. And if you're flustered, then yeah, you're not comfortable. You're maybe embarrassed. So yeah, you can be flustered, and I guess we wouldn't say that, but I can understand what you're trying to say in relation to the Korean meaning.
그래요. 자, 김은나님은 I was so embarrassed, so my eyes were trying to find the place to hide. Okay, this is understandable, even though it's grammatically a little bit awkward, but it doesn't matter because I understand kind of the situation. It's funny and cute as well.
I guess if your eyes were trying to find a place to hide, you could just close them.
Yes, best way to hide. All right, 자, 선물 받을 두 분 뽑겠습니다.
Oh, I think we have to include deer and caught in the headlights.
Yeah, exactly. 이은미님께 단백질 쉐이크 보내드릴 거고요. I'm gonna pick. 방금 그 김은나님의 문장 굉장히 유머러스하고 창의적이었거든요. I was so embarrassed. My eyes were trying to find a place to hide. 네, 김은나님은 아로마 세트 보내드리겠습니다. What would you say?
I would say your eyes are telling how shocked you are.
Oh, I like that. Your eyes are telling how shocked you are.
Yeah, you can do also your eyes are showing how shocked you are as well, but I think telling explains more.
I just went with not using eyes at all because I felt like it was too difficult. I couldn't think of the deer one. But anyway, I made this sentence. I was so stunned, my jaw dropped, and I literally froze. So this is all sorts of different ways of saying you were shocked and surprised without mentioning eyes.
Yeah.
Because these are just a little bit more common, I think, in English. 그래요. 영어로는 뭐 입이 떡 벌어졌다, 얼어버렸다 이런 표현들을 또 당황할 때 많이 쓰기도 하니까 그렇게 활용해봤습니다. Right, well that's it for the first hour. Let's listen to Christopher Cross. All right, see you in Part 2. 배우며 사랑하며 EBS 라디오가 9시를 알려드립니다. Welcome back. This is part 2 of Morning Special on EBS FM on Thursday, the 22nd of January. I'm your host, Chesu Jin, and we have Jason Lee in this studio with us. In the second hour, we're going to read the New York Times together. 오늘은 미국 로스앤젤레스의 기묘한 법안 하나가 곧 사라질 상황을 보도한 뉴욕타임스 기사 만나보도록 하겠습니다. But before that, we have a quiz for you. Jason 선생님.
Which of the following sports balls is the smallest? Is it 1, bowling ball? Is it 2, billiard ball? Or is it 3, beach volleyball?
They all begin with B. 자, 다음 중 공 크기가 가장 작은 것을 골라주세요. Number 1, bowling ball. Number 2, billiard ball. Number 3, beach volleyball. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Alright. 자, 샵 1045, 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원이고요. EBS 반디 앱과 유튜브도 무료로 이용하실 수 있습니다. 자, 날씨 너무 춥죠? 7983님이 동탄도 지금 영하 12도입니다. 추운데 속이 허하니 더 추운 것 같아서 어제 뉴스도 생각나고 군고구마 사 먹으러 편의점 들렀는데 이것도 예약제라네요. 그냥 샌드위치만 사왔어요 하셨습니다. Wow.
Oh, they were out of sweet potatoes?
Yeah, they said
Oh, no.
you have to make a reservation because we're out of them, and people have made
my.
reserved. I guess this is a really popular, particular convenience store because
Oh.
I don't think all convenience stores are like this, but
Yeah.
this one apparently,
Oh,
yeah.
sweet potatoes, they smell so good in the wintertime.
They do. 그리고 소프반님이요 유튜브로 밴쿠버인데요. 여기 지금 6도입니다. 지루하게 B 그다음에 또 B 하더니만 지금 일주일째 아주 맑고 예쁜 날이에요. Oh, so it was raining day after day, and now the skies are clear, the weather's perfect, 6 degrees, very nice.
Wow, and of course I'm from Vancouver,
Right.
so when she says, rain, that's very normal.
Oh,
at
is
this
that
time of
typical
year.
Vancouver weather?
In January, I'll bet it probably rains at least 20 to 25 days out of the month,
What?
is my guess.
Really?
But on the other hand, if you're 6 degrees, it's a very damp, like high humidity 6 degrees, so it actually feels much colder than 6 degrees.
Well, but despite that, this person says she loves, or I think it's she, they love the weather right now because it's much better than having just rain.
Yes, absolutely.
The skies are clear. 자, 김준석님은요, 한강에 운동하러 갔는데 아직 한강이 얼지는 않았네요.
Really? I thought it was earlier. I guess it's melted down again then.
Maybe it depends on
Where?
which part.
Yeah.
그래서 오리도 먹이 찾고 있습니다. 흐르는 물은 얼지도 썩지도 않는가 봅니다. 저도 강물처럼 쉬지 않고 열심히 흘러가겠습니다 하셨어요. Okay, interesting. I think some parts of the Han River are frozen, but maybe not all of them.
It maybe not frozen all the way across, even though there might be portions of it here and there.
Exactly. All right, we're going to take a song break. This is David Guetta and One Republic. I Don't Want to Wait. I Don't Want to Wait. That was David Guetta and One Republic. All right, well, you don't have to wait any longer. We're going to get right to today's New York Times article. Jason, what's the title?
Playing catch on an LA sidewalk? You may technically risk jail time.
LA 인도에서 공놀이 하려고요? 그러시면 법적으로 감옥에 가실 수도 있습니다. 라는 제목이에요. 제목 그대로입니다. 지금까지 LA에서는 길가에서 캐치볼 같은 공놀이를 하면은 법적으로 처벌받을 수 있는 조항이 있었어요. 이게 또 근데 잘 알려지지는 않아서 아마 많이들 모르셨을 겁니다. 시의원 한 명인데 이런 조항이 있다는 사실을 얼마 전에 깨달으면서 철폐 절차에 들어가자 이렇게 주장을 하고 실제로 그렇게 되고 있는 상황입니다. 자, 처음부터 들어볼게요.
Planning on playing a casual game of catch with your child on the sidewalk outside your home or on a quiet cul-de-sac, you might want to reconsider if you're in Los Angeles, because you'd technically be committing a crime. A little known and rarely enforced provision in the Los Angeles Municipal Code prohibits ball games on most streets or sidewalks. Violators face a fine of up to $1,000, a jail term of up to 6 months, or both.
LA에서는요, 집 앞 인도나 한적한 막다른 골목에서 캐치볼을 하면 그러면은 법적으로 처벌받을 수 있습니다. 그래서 만약에 그렇게 할 생각이 있다면 다시 생각하세요. 라고 기사가 말하고 있는데 로스앤젤레스 시의 이 조례에는 잘 알려지지 않고 거의 시행되지 않고 있는 이런 조항이 포함되어 있습니다. 위반할 시에는 최대 $1,000의 벌금, 또 최대 6개월의 징역형 또는 둘 다 받을 수 있습니다. Wow, what a shocking law. Well, this dates back to 1945, which was right after the Second World War, when, all of a sudden the empty streets were sort of full again with the soldiers returning and cars were suddenly
Booming.
booming as well. So with all these people, I guess LA thought it's too dangerous to have kids playing catch on the roads. There's too many people, too many cars. So you're going to be fined if you play catch.
An old law that's probably not as relevant today.
Definitely. 1945년에 그때부터 시행이 됐었던 이 안전을 위해서 인도에서 공놀이 하지 마세요 했던 법이 어떻게 하다 보니까 지금까지 2026년인데 지금까지도
80-year-old law.
없어지지 않고 일단은 법은 있어요. 그렇지만 잘 이게 이행되지는 않았다고 합니다. 실제로 모르는 사람들이 굉장히 많죠. 시의원도 모를 정도였으니까. Alright, let's have a look at some expressions. First of all, catch is the game, right?
Playing a game of catch, so just throwing the ball back and forth.
공놀이. 그 catch라고 하고요. What's a cul-de-sac?
A cul-de-sac is like a dead end where there are houses. So in North America, there's a lot of cul-de-sacs where you drive a car through streets, but you make a turn and then the street doesn't continue. You have to turn around and go back out to find anything else. And the reason they do that is for safety, because the houses in the cul-de-sac area, there's less traffic because cars can't go through, so it's a lot safer for kids to play in that area.
저 외국의 도로명들은요, 그 도로의 형태에 따라서 이름이 달리 붙어요. 그래서 이제 cul-de-sac라는 이름이 붙으면 막다른 골목입니다. 그래서 보통 외국 주소지를 보게 되면은 이 도로명이요, 번호가 있고, 그다음에 이제 그 어떠한 도로인지 이게 lane이 될 수도 있고, road가 될 수도 있고, 또 avenue도 있고, 굉장히 많죠. 네, street도 있고.
There's a lot.
근데
Boulevard.
이게 그죠, 랜덤하게 붙인 이름이 아니고요. 실제로 이 도로의 형태에 따라서 이름을 붙인 건데, 또 이 숫자는 보통 한쪽에는 odd numbers, 홀수, 또 한쪽에는 even numbers, 짝수. 그래서 예전에는 이제 우편 배달을 할 때 그렇게 찾아가는 거예요. 이 번호가 예를 들자면은 12 morning cul-de-sac 이렇게 하면은 막다른 골목인지 morning로 해서 이제 12니까 홀수 짝수 어느 쪽이지? 요쪽이 짝수네. 그러면서 이제 6, 8, 10, there it is, 12. 이렇게 찾아가는 거였죠. 요즘에는 놀러 갈 때나 집 주소 찾아가기는 하겠지만 여기서 cul-de-sac가 그런 도로 중에 하나입니다. 막다른 골목. Now technically, what does technically mean?
Technically, if you're following like a rule exactly to how it is written, then that's the way that it's going to be enforced, or it should be understood. But typically, a lot of people might not know that or follow it that way. So we usually use this term. And first off, when you say technically, we're usually going to stress it. If you notice, when I read it, I said, because you'd technically be committing a crime. So I'm stressing that word, or I'm pausing before it, because I want to make sure you understand that I'm saying, technically, if you follow the law exactly how it's written, then it is that way. But most people don't, sort of thing. So like it's kind of like a condition.
엄밀히 따지면 이라는 뜻이에요. technically. 그래서 이 technic이라는 단어가 들어가지만 기술이라고 우리가 해석할 필요가 전혀 없는 단어고요. 그냥 엄밀히 말하자면 이런 뜻이에요. technically blah blah blah. 여기서는 if you throw a ball, if you play catch on a sidewalk, you would technically be committing a crime. 인도에서 공놀이 하면은 엄밀히 말하면 범죄 행위를 하고 있는 겁니다. 이런 거죠. 좀 놀라운데요. 죄를 짓다, commit a crime. Now what's a provision?
A provision is like a condition. So under this situation, this is what would happen, or this is what's supposed to happen. So they're enforcing like provisions in the Los Angeles area. If you were to do this, then here's what's going to happen.
provision이라는 거는 법률의 조항을 말합니다. Alright, let's continue reading.
But that may change soon. Staff members for Bob Blumenfield, a Los Angeles City Council member, stumbled on the provision last year. It seemed uncommonly silly, said Jake Flynn, a spokesperson for Blumenfield, even compared with the pantheon of other quirky municipal laws in Los Angeles. One example, horse-drawn carriages are prohibited in one part of the city between 4:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. every day. So Blumenfield put forward a motion to begin the process of repealing the law. It was approved by the council in a 14-0 vote without discussion on Tuesday.
자, 이런 상황이 곧 바뀔 수 있습니다. 로스앤젤레스 시의원인 법 블루먼필드의 직원들이 지난해 이 조항을 우연히 발견했는데요. 블루먼필드 의원의 대변인 제이크 플린에 따르면은 이 조항은 로스앤젤레스의 다른 기이한 지방 조례들과 비교해도 유난히 우스꽝스러워 보였다라고 했습니다. 자, 이런 조례들 중에 한 예로는 시내의 한 구역에서 매일 오후 4시 반부터 6시까지 마차 운행이 금지된다라는 게 그런 조항도 여전히 있다는 거죠. 그것도 좀 웃음스럽긴 한데 누가 마차를 운행하나요 요즘에? 근데 어쨌든 공 던지기 이것도 있는 거예요 아직. 그래서 이에 블루먼필드 의원은 해당 법안 폐지 절차를 시작하는 안건을 상정했습니다. 또 이 안건은 지난 화요일 시의회에서 토론 없이 만장일치 14대 0으로 가결됐습니다. I'd be surprised if anyone was in favor of this. Of course everyone's against having this law or in favor of getting rid of it, I should say. Alright, it says here the pantheon of other quirky laws.
Yeah, pantheon is like a group of or things that would be considered to be prominent or great above, perhaps. So, it could be like people that are great at something or things that are just considered to be a notch above.
숫자는 적지만 굉장히 도드라지고 또 중요하거나 유명한 것들 내지는 사람들 이런 뜻이 있어서요. 지금 LA의 조례를 쫙 봤더니 몇몇 많지는 않지만 우스꽝스러운 조항들이 있더라. 이런 얘기를 하는 거예요. 그게 눈에 굉장히 띄더라. 이런 말을. There was a pantheon of other quirky, that means strange, laws in LA.
And when you're using pantheon, it's usually, I think always, more than one thing or person. Yeah. So it's a group.
Exactly. Now, the process of repealing it has been put forward. Let's look at those two expressions.
Yeah, something that's just put forward is it's brought about or considered. You're saying, let's do this. You're putting this idea forward. So you're just bringing it up, essentially.
그렇죠. 뭔가 제안하거나 제언할 때 to put forward an idea 이렇게 표현을 할 수 있습니다. 여기서는 이제 the motion was put forward 그 안건이 상정이 됐다라는 뜻이 되겠고요. What is the whole process about? It's it's about repealing the law.
And if you repeal a law, then you're taking a law or a rule and you're trying to get rid of it.
Yeah,
Saying
exactly.
let's not do this law anymore.
It basically means to get rid of it.
Mhm.
Throw it away.
Erase it.
폐지하다라는 뜻으로 여기서 썼습니다. 그렇다면 문제의 이 조항이 어떤 내용을 담고 있는지 좀 더 구체적으로 들어볼까요?
Section 56.16, the law set to be repealed states, no person shall play ball or any game of sport with a ball or football or throw, cast, shoot, or discharge any stone, pellet, bullet, arrow, or any other missile in, over, across, along, or upon any street or sidewalk in any other public park except on those portions of said park set apart for such purposes. The more serious actions mentioned, like shooting bullets or firing arrows, are already prohibited by other laws, Blumenfield's motion stated.
So specific. 와, 이렇게나 구체적으로 말하고 있네요. 자, 폐지가 예정된 repeal이 될 이 law가 바로 법률 제56.16 16조인데요. 다음과 같이 규정하고 있습니다. 누구도 공이나 축구공을 사용한 구기 또는 스포츠 경기를 하거나 돌, 탄환, 총알, 화살 또는 기타 투사체를 거리나 인도 위에서 또 그 위쪽으로 또는 가로질러 따라서 또는 그 위에 던지거나 발사하거나 쏘거나 해서는 아니 된다. 다만 해당 공원 내에서 그러한 목적으로 지정된 구역은 예외로 한다. 이런 이제 조항이 있대요. 1945년에 만들어진 조항입니다. 근데 이제 블루먼필드 의원이 덧붙이기로는 총알 발사나 화살 쏘기 이런 이제 심각한 행위는 이미 다른 법률로도 금지가 되어 있기 때문에 지금 해당 그 조항이 폐지가 된다고 해서 그게 합법화되는 건 전혀 아닙니다. Alright. Said park. Let's have a look at that.
So, said is the past tense of say. So, if you said something, well, then it's something came up before because this is the past of something that was said before. So, if you look a little bit, a few words ahead, it will say, or in any public park, except on those portions of said park. So park came up before, earlier in the sentence or the sentence before. So it's saying, remember that park that I was talking about that I said earlier? Well, that is the park that I'm talking about, the said park.
said가 어떻게 쓰였냐면은 앞서 말한 바로 그라는 의미로 쓰인 겁니다. 그래서 앞서 뭐라고 했냐면 any public park가 나왔어요. 그러고 나서 blah 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 of said park, which means of that public park that I said earlier. 이걸 이제 줄여가지고 said park라고 하는 거죠. 자, 이거는 이제 문장 속에서 우리가 반복을 막기 위해서 쓰는 표현이니까 you could say this about anything. You know, I really enjoy coffee, and so I bought a cup of coffee this morning, and I realized that this is a little bit different to the normal coffee I have, but the said coffee will do for now because I don't have any other drink. 이런 식으로 제가 지금 커피 했는데 같은 커피 얘기하고 있으니까 굳이 this coffee 이렇게 할 필요는 없고 그냥 said coffee 이렇게 해도 되는 거예요.
Yeah, I think in English we have a fear of redundancy. Repetition, redundancy, like saying the same thing too many times, too close together. Like we have it's almost like we're taught to not do that. So in order to not do that, we have to have different ways of addressing the same thing over again. And it could be, I think a common way that we use this is, let's say we're talking about someone in the office, maybe that we don't like. So we don't want to mention their name over and over again, especially if there's traffic of people that might overhear what you're talking about. So instead of saying their name again, we'll say, said person. So to kind of disguise it again as well.
앞서 우리가 언급했던 그 사람 있잖아. said person. 이렇게 말할 수도 있습니다. Alright, let's take a break. 퀴즈 한 번 더 주세요.
Which of the following sports balls is the smallest? Is it 1, bowling ball? Is it 2, billiard ball? Or is it 3, beach volleyball?
다음 중 크기가 가장 작은 공을 골라주세요. Number 1, bowling ball. Number 2, billiard ball. Number 3, beach volleyball. Alright, well, you can send in your answers to pound 1045. That'll cost you 51 for short messages and 101 for longer ones. You can also use our Pandy app and YouTube, EBS Radio. Here's Clint Holmes, Playground in My Mind. Clint Holmes, Playground in My Mind 들으셨습니다. 자, 이번 뉴스 커버지 시간에는 길거리에서 캐치볼만 해도 법 위반으로 처벌받을 수 있다는 미국 LA의 꽤 시대착오적인 시조례가 곧 폐지될 거라는 뉴스를 뉴욕타임스 기사로 들어보고 있어요. 그렇다면은 왜 처음에 이걸 만들었는지도 기사 속에서 들어봐야겠죠. 한번 선생님의 목소리로 들어보겠습니다.
The language of the law, with its mentions of discharging stones and pellets, speaks to its era, Flynn said. It brings up a Leave-It-to-Beaver-esque quality that invokes the imagery of an idyllic, old-fashioned Southern California suburbia, he said, referencing the family sitcom that aired in the 1950s and 60s.
플린 대변인은 이 법조문이 돌과 작은 탄환을 발사한다라는 표현을 사용한 점을 보면 당시 시대상이 드러난다고 합니다. 1950년대, 60년대에 방영됐던 미국의 인기 가족 시트콤을 언급하면서 비버는 해결사 시대 느낌으로 목가적인 옛날식 남부 캘리포니아 교회 이미지를 떠올리게 한다라고 덧붙였습니다. Alright, so the language of the law speaks to its era.
Yeah, speaks to meaning you're indicating the time, or it speaks to like the people of that era. So it's saying those people in that era would understand what you're talking about because it's kind of brought up in that time period.
Yeah, speaks to라는 거는요, 뭘 보여준다라는 뜻이 있어요. 시사한다. So the language of the law, 이 법의 표현들, 문구들을 잘 보게 되면 그 시대를 추측할 수 있어요. 돌 던지지 말아라, 탄환을 발사하지 말아라, 이런 게 나오는 걸 봐서는.
Yeah, cause I think if you look now, like we look at this law now and basically say, okay, why do we have a law like that? I don't get it because it doesn't speak to our era. It speaks to the people of that era, so they understand it because that's who the law was made for. But yeah, right now it doesn't speak to us.
Now, I'm not familiar with this TV show, Leave It to the Beaver.
Leave It to Beaver.
Oh, Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with it?
Very
okay.
familiar. Yeah, this was something that it was like, I think it was black and white.
Okay.
It was a sitcom that I grew up watching. So yeah, the reason that they bring up this sitcom is because the family that was portrayed in the sitcom was very idealistic. Like this is how you wanted your family to be, where the kids growing up had lots of questions, they get into trouble every now and then, but then it's like they had a perfect mother who always had a way to figure things out and educate their children, and the father as well. So it's like, these perfect parents in suburbia.
Okay. And Beaver was the boy's name, I think.
Yeah, he was the
right?
younger boy. That was his nickname.
아, 그렇군요. 주인공 남자아이의 닉네임이 비버였대요. 그래서 Leave it to Beaver, 비버에게 맡겨, 이렇게 직역을 할 수 있겠죠. 근데 어쨌든 거기에 나와 있는 그 시대적인 아주 이상적이고 목가적이라고 하면도 이렇게 굉장히 평화로운 느낌, 그런 느낌이 이 법안에도 있는 것 같아요. 그러니까 평화롭게 지내고 싶으니까 거리에 나가서 캐치볼 같은 거 하지 마, 이런 법안이 생긴 거겠죠. Alright, so what is something esque?
Something esque means that it's like that, or similar to, or using that as an example. So here it says, Leave It to Beaver esque. So just like the TV show Leave It to Beaver, it's like that. I might say, the way you said that was so Sujin-esque. It's like, well, what do you mean? Well, you said that just like the way that Sujin would say that. It's Sujin-esque.
뭐뭐와 비슷하다라는 뜻이죠. 그래서 우리가 picture picturesque 그러면 그림 같다 이런 뜻이고 leave it to beaver-esque 그러면은 이 TV 프로그램 같다 이런 뜻이겠죠. Right, let's continue reading.
That was around when the population of Los Angeles was expanding rapidly. Many new communities were being built in areas that had traditionally been farms or rural land, and the number of cars on the road was on the rise. Lawmakers needed to create new rules to keep both drivers and pedestrians safe, Flynn said. How often the law was enforced is also unclear. Flynn said he was aware of only one or two instances. Still, a repeal would end the slim possibility of enforcement in the future, which would be a brazen injustice, he said.
당시는 로스앤젤레스 인구가 급속히 증가하던 시기로 전통적으로 농장이나 농촌 지역이었던 곳에 수많은 신규 주거지가 건설되고 도로 위 차량 수도 계속 늘어나던 때였습니다. 그래서 운전자와 보행자 모두의 안전을 보장하기 위해서 입법자들이 새로운 규칙을 마련해야 하는 상황이었던 거죠. 이 법으로 단속된 경우가 얼마나 많았는지는 정확히 알 수 없습니다. 플린 대변인 자신은 단 한두 건 정도만 알고 있다고 밝혔고요. 그럼에도 이번 폐지안이 시행되면 앞으로 이 법으로 단속할 그나마 희박한 가능성마저 사라지게 된다며 플린은 오히려 그러지 않는다면은 그야말로 말도 안 되는 불공정이라고 덧붙였습니다. Alright, if there's a slim chance of something or if something is slim, what are we saying?
Slim chances, meaning that there's very little chance or little possibility of something happening. So, slim, we often think of something being thin or skinny. A woman's body, we might say, is slim for some of them. So, we think of something being skinny, not large, and in the same thing with possibilities or chances. If your chances are slim, your possibility slim, there's not a good chance of this happening.
Yeah, and we often use these words together, slim possibility or slim chance. Very commonly used together.
You'll often hear someone say, what are the chances of this? And you might say, I'd say slim to none.
그래요. 가능성이 희박할 때, 그 희박하다라는 의미로 slim을 많이 써요. 물론 우리 몸매가 날씬하다는 뜻으로도 slim을 쓰기도 하고 동사로 to slim down 그러면 그것도 마찬가지로 살 빼다 이런 의미도 있지만 어쨌든 희박하다, 날씬하다 다 작은 거죠.
You think of like maybe a woman or a body is slim. You can also say a person is skinny, but you would never say your chances are skinny or the possibility is skinny, right? The possibility or chances are slim, but it's not skinny.
That's a good point. Now, what is something or someone who's brazen?
Someone that's brazen, you're kind of bold in supporting something or an idea, sort of like without shame. Like you're confident in this.
Yeah.
And it's like, nope, this is exactly what I feel, and you're not taking anything back or ashamed of your stance at all.
사람한테 쓸 때는 뻔뻔하다. 그리고 지금처럼 어떤 상황에 대해서 쓸 때는 대놓고 이게 안 맞지만 대놓고 뭔가 한다 이런 느낌이에요. 그러니까 if they don't get rid of this law, that would be an injustice. 이거는 불공정인데 그냥 불공정이 아니고 대놓고 맞지도 않는 조항을 계속 우리가 굳이 유지할 필요가 있느냐 그 얘기죠. It would be a brazen injustice to keep this. Of course we have to repeal it and get rid of it. It just does not fit with the times. Alright, 자 이렇게 해서 뉴스 커버리지 다 살펴봤습니다. 이제 주요 표현을 제이슨 선생님의 예문과 함께 다시 짚어볼게요. 엄밀히 따지면
Technically, if you follow exactly the rules or the way something is written, then this would be true, and you're saying technically in that way. And as I said before, always stress this when you say it.
Okay, what's your sentence?
Technically, her car had the right of way at the four-way stop, but she let the other car go first.
사거리에서 해당 차량이 엄밀히 말하자면은 우선권이 있었지만 그래도 다른 차량에게 순서를 양보해 줬어. 이런 뜻이 되겠죠?
Oh, I just thought of something that would be a good one.
Yep.
Technically, a tomato is a fruit, but a lot of people consider it a vegetable because it's in salads and it's in the vegetable section.
Yeah,
But
I'm always
technically,
confused.
yeah, technically it has seeds, so technically it's a fruit.
엄밀히 따지면은 토마토는 과일인데 많은 사람들은 채소로 알고 있어. 이렇게. 오케이, 다음 표현은요. To put forth or to put forward something.
If you put forth an idea, you're kind of saying, "Hey, let's do this." You're being, I guess, not aggressive, but you're bringing something up.
그렇죠. 어떤 아이디어를 제안하는 겁니다. 예문 볼게요.
He put forth the Nomads as his idea for the new team's name.
네, 새로운 팀의 이름으로 Nomads를 제안했습니다. 자, 다음 표현은 to repeal.
If you're repealing something, then you're trying to get rid of a law, or you're trying to make a law no longer active.
그래요. 법을 무효로 하다, 폐지하다. 예문 보겠습니다.
They repealed the law as it was clearly outdated in the modern world.
현대 사회에 전혀 맞지 않는 시대착오적인 그 법을 취소했습니다. 폐지했습니다. 이렇게 보면 되겠네요. 자, 다음으로 the said something.
The said something is something that you said earlier, so you're just referring back to what you had already talked about. So in the article, it was a said park. If you're talking with people, you might say, hey, like a said person. Yeah, here's another example. So you're just bringing up what you were already talking about.
앞서 언급한 그것이기 때문에 사실은 우리가 the 아니면 that 라고 써도 돼요. 근데 이 said를 쓰면은 약간 더 고급스러운 느낌이 있어요. 자, 그러면 한번 예문 보겠습니다.
And then deposit the exact amount at said bank.
그러니까 이 문장이 성립하려면 앞에 뱅크 이름을 하나 언급을 해야 되겠네요. 예를 들자면은 go to the morning special bank and then deposit the amount at said bank.
Yes.
굳이 모닝 스페셜 뱅크를 한 번 더 언급할 필요 없이 그 은행이라는 뜻으로 이제 쓰면 되겠죠. 그래서 그 은행에 가서 정확한 금액을 입금을 하도록 해라는 뜻이 되겠습니다. 자, 마지막으로 something esque.
Something esque is something that resembles someone or something. So you're trying to describe it as being like that thing or that person.
그렇죠. 뭐뭐와 닮았다, 비슷하다 할 때 like를 쓸 수도 있지만 또 역시나 이것도 좀 화려한 표현처럼 느껴지는데요. something esque, E-S-Q-U-E. 자, 표현 보겠습니다.
Her voice was very Adele-esque, but not quite as refined.
그녀의 목소리는 아델과 굉장히 비슷하긴 했지만 그렇게까지 정교한 그런 목소리는 아니었다. 이렇게 볼 수 있겠네요. Alright, well that's it for the main expressions. 자, 오늘의 뉴스 커버리지 기사는 홈페이지 속 방송 내용 게시판 확인하시면 되고요. 다시 다운받으실 수 있고 이제 퀴즈 정답 발표하겠습니다. Which of the three balls is the smallest?
That would be number 2, a billiard ball.
billiard, 당구. 영국에서 스누커라고 하는 게 같은 건가요? 스누커하고 빌리ard? 약간 다른가요?
It might be. I think snooker is in billiard. So like it's a version
Okay.
of a billiard game. So snooker is one of the games that
Okay.
you would play. So you can call it a snooker ball as well because
Yeah.
it's the ball. But I think that the sizes of the balls are a little bit different.
Okay. What about in Korea we have pokeball. Is that the same thing?
Yeah, so pocket ball would be like similar to snooker, but at the same time, there are some different versions because
You pronounce it differently to how we in England we say snooker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, we
go.
say snooker.
Okay.
But yeah,
okay.
like it's the same idea, but sometimes the table sizes are a little bit different, and sometimes the
Right,
ball sizes are a little bit different. So like in Korea, they
그렇군요.
play 3-ball, 4-ball, where the balls are a little bit bigger.
아하, 그렇군요. You're getting very technical there.
Yes, I am. Very technical.
아주 엄밀히 따지자면은 다 조금씩 다르다. 이렇게 말씀해 주셨는데.
Technically, they're different, but they're kind of the same.
그래서 빌리어드 볼, 당구공이 제일 작았고 나머지 보울링 볼, 그다음에 비치 볼리볼 다 다 훨씬 크죠? Which is bigger, bowling ball or beach volleyball? I think beach
Ooh,
volleyball.
that's a close
But then
one.
bowling balls, they have different sizes too, don't they?
That's true. Yeah.
Different
Different weights.
Different weights. That's right. Not different sizes.
Yeah. Bowling ball's
Okay.
definitely the heaviest.
Yes,
But
yes.
yeah, depending on the ball, I think it'd probably be pretty similar to a beach volleyball.
Yeah. Well, luckily we're not asking which is the biggest.
Yeah.
Which is the smallest, and that was number 2, a billiard ball. Congratulations. 뒷번호 2047님 그리고 김현계님 축하드립니다. 선물 보내드릴게요. 홈페이지 들어오셔서 주소와 연락처를 당첨자 게시판에 올려주시면 되겠습니다. Alright, time for some Frank Sinatra. That's life. Start your day with Morning Special. It's time to have a look at today's idiom. Jason, what is it?
Today's idiom is touch base.
네, 오늘의 idiom은 to touch base입니다. 상황을 파악하다, 확인하다 이런 느낌인데요. 다이alo그를 통해 먼저 살펴볼게요. 오늘은 제이슨 선생님이 호텔 총지배인이고 저는 매니저인데 내한 공연을 준비하고 있는 The Three Tenorios의 매니저입니다. 자, 그래서 제가 호텔 스위트룸을 이제 확인하러 온 상황이에요. And of course, Jason, the hotel manager, I guess, gives me a little tour. 그래서 투어를 제가 받게 되는 상황입니다. Let's have a listen. Idiom package, touch base.
And this is the Tebak suite, secured from tomorrow through Monday.
Wow, I love the entrance. Oh, it feels impressive already. Can you tell me about the thermostat controls? The trio is very particular about room temperature.
Of course, each zone has independent smart thermostat, and you can control everything from the in-room tablet. In addition, there's a humidifier in each area of the suite.
Oh, perfect. And the safe and minibar?
Oh, the safe is biometric and password protected. And the minibar has been fully stocked with premium drinks and custom snacks requested by your office. Everything is top notch.
Great. Now let's check the guest toilet first. Are the towels new?
Oh, yes, absolutely. They are brand new and meet the specifications you set. Extra soft, high absorbency cotton.
Excellent.
Now, this is the first living room. Over here, we have the second living room. Oh, more private.
Oh, very nice. Now, where do we stand on the flower arrangements?
They will be replaced every day with no plastic elements. And I will personally double check everything before sending the arrangements up.
Wonderful. Now the master bedroom?
All bedding, pillows, duvets, and cushions are brand new from luxury Chamkode, exactly as requested. Every bedding item will be replaced with new ones daily.
That's great.
And this is the master bathroom.
Oh, everything looks impeccable and in order.
Oh, yes. And as you can see, the toiletries are exclusively from the Demirobo collection.
Good. Well, speaking of toiletries, we need another set, but from a different line. We're happy with the hotel selection since it's a favorite of the trios, but one member has developed a stress-related rash and needs a separate set from the anti-rash, anti-allergenic, scentless line, the Iga Balavois.
I'll coordinate with housekeeping, concierge, and the front desk. It shouldn't be a problem at all.
Perfect. I need to head to the airport now, so let's touch base on the final details later at 2.
I'll have everything ready by then.
All right, thank you. All right, so sounds like a lovely sweet. All sorts of things in there. If I touch base, what am I doing? If we touch base, I should say.
If we touch base, then we're getting back together or we're getting back into contact once again. So we might say, let's touch base later,
Yeah.
or let's touch base at 2 o'clock or 5 o'clock or at a specific time, or it could be a specific place. Let's touch base at the coffee shop. Let's touch base again over here. So it could be a time, it could be a place, but we're meeting or we're contacting each other once again.
잠시 만나서 서로 업데이트 상황을 공유합시다라는 뜻이에요. Let's touch base. So it's not going to be a long meeting. It's just going to be a brief meetup or a phone call or something, and you're going to check if everything's updated and if everything is going as planned.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get confirmation.
Yeah.
It could be another thing that we're talking about. And this is actually a baseball term. Touch base, baseball. So in baseball, you have first base, second base, third base, and back in the old days, it was like a home base. Now it's home plate. But yeah, if you go all the way around and you come back home, then you're back to where you started from. You get back again. Let's meet up once again. Let's let's touch base.
그렇군요. 그래서 홈플레이트로 돌아오는 것 같은 느낌으로 다시 나중에 연락해서 진행 상황을 우리 얘기합시다. 마치 이제 다시 베이스로 돌아와가지고 홈플레이트로 와서 뭐 상황을 파악하는 것처럼 이렇게 쓰는 표현이군요.
Yeah, and this can definitely be used in a business sense quite often.
Yes.
If you're working on an agreement and you want confirmation of something, so let me talk to my people, my representatives, or my manager, and then why don't you talk to your wife or your manager, and then we can touch base again.
우리 일단은 각각 좀 생각해보고 상의해보고 나중에 다시 연락해서 진행 상황을 업데이트 합시다. 이럴 때 쓰는 표현이 되겠습니다.
Yeah, you can also use it talking with friends. Like I have a friend visiting right now from America, and you know we're getting together every now and then. And you know I might tell him, hey, okay, I've got to work in the morning, but let's touch base in the afternoon about plans in the evening. So let's touch base then. We'll kind of get into contact. We'll message or talk on the phone to make plans later on.
Are there any similar expressions or related expressions?
Yeah, I would say let's meet up again, or let's get into contact again, or it could be even like let's catch up again later on, sort of things. Yeah, I'd say get in touch. Let's get confirmation. It could be from a business standpoint.
Good job. Let's meet up again. Let's get into contact again, or let's catch up later. Let's get in touch again. 다 비슷한 표현이 되겠습니다. 우리 나중에 다시 진행 상황 얘기합시다. 이런 거죠. 자, 이번 idiom은 touch base였습니다. Alright, well, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Pleasure as always.
We'll touch base next Thursday.
Look forward to it.
네, 지금까지 제이슨 선생님이었습니다.